Welcome everyone to another episode of I Think I Love You with your host as always, Loverboy Los. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all the love and support. Man, can't be waiting to do more episodes with everyone. My interviews, putting them out. So keep on sharing with all your friends and keep on reviewing and posting about it. It helps me out a lot. And you know what else? Just a follow or two. That's all I can ask, just one follow on my social media. It helps people learn about this podcast. That's why I do it. I hate saying that because I'm a low key guy. You guys know that, but I just want people to listen to this podcast and because they can learn something from it. I mean, there's people that hit me up and say, "Man, I like your podcast because we do real people out here. They share their real stories." And I think at the end of the day, we can all learn something from that. So please share on, and I'll be giving out more episodes. Today's episode is going to be about one of Anthony's friends, Sue. Now, Sue has an interesting relationship, or she had an interesting relationship. Don't want to give out too many details, but this episode is really about where marriage comes into place, what people do after they get married, and just finding oneself after marriage because it's different. I don't care how long you've been with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whoever, marriage is a whole different game story. And for someone to change their whole methods, man, there's a whole lot to go with that. So for all you young people out there and for the wiser, older people too, this one's an episode that you want to keep your ears tuned in the whole entire time. That's a sneak peek, and let's roll it.
Welcome to I Think I Love You, where we keep it real with your past, current, and future relationships. With your host, Loverboy Los.
Welcome everyone to another episode of I Think I Love You with your host, Loverboy Los. So, I got a very cool guest with me today. Producer Anthony helped me get her on. Thank you, Sue, for being part of this and welcome to my show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So, one of the things you were telling me when I met up with you was that you were a very monogamous person. And now, after you went through this trip, you're more, as you would say,
a serial bachelor.
a serial bachelor.
A bachelorette.
I want to learn more about that. What made you change? Because that's a big change from being just, I'm going to stay with one person this whole time. It's like, you know what? Maybe my life isn't really about that.
Well, when I was younger, part of being a serial monogamist is not really just being with one person. Mm-hmm. Really, it's about always needing to be in a relationship.
Okay.
So when one relationship wouldn't work out for one reason or another, like I was already looking for the next person to attach myself to.
Yeah.
So that's something that I realized after the fact. I didn't notice it at the time. I just thought it was normal. And my parents were like happy about it because they wanted me to be in a relationship and get married.
Oh, your parents were okay with you being in a relationship all the time?
Well, that's what they wanted. They wanted me to get married and have kids. And so the only way to do that. Oh, no, I wasn't that young. I mean,
oh, okay. I was like, dang.
I know I look young, but no, I was 18 in my first real relationship. And then that went on. I had I think 3 boyfriends.
Yeah. Up until then?
Till I was 25.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah, three relationships in, was that 7 years?
Yeah.
I was with one person for
That's
years.
long.
The next person for years. Yeah. It was good because I learned how to be in a relationship. But at the same time, my reason for doing it was because I was scared to be alone because I wanted to share my identity with one other person. And I wouldn't show up as Sue. I'd show up as Sue and, well, I'm not going to say his name, but
whoever,
Sue
John,
and this guy, Sue and that guy. So,
yeah,
it takes a lot of time away from that experience to actually recognize what you're doing.
Okay.
It wasn't malicious. I wasn't mean or using anybody. It was, I loved those people, but
You really cared about him. You really wanted to be in a relationship with him.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah.
So let me backtrack a little. You get in one relationship, breakup happens. You just, next month, next year, you just go back in your second relationship, or how does it go?
My first relationship didn't work out. The guy was a lot older than me.
Yeah.
And like my parents didn't like him.
Oh, so your parents didn't like?
They didn't really
That's
know
pretty
him
hard.
until
Okay.
later. So, you know, they didn't really like him. And he was like an international person and traveled a lot and wanted me to like kind of ditch my life and like travel around with him.
Yeah, that's not always gonna end up well.
Funny thing is, the second relationship was the same exact situation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, not
So you got a
exactly,
type.
but yeah. I guess at the time I had a type. It did not work out for me.
Uh-huh.
That is no longer my type. I learned these lessons.
Yeah. So what made you want to be with these type of guys then at first? Is it just because something that attracted you to them, or was it more like you were saying you just wanted to be in relationships so they're the next guy up?
You know, I asked myself this question
Mm-hmm.
much later, and I realized that it was because during that time in my life, I felt like I wanted to be an adult and make grown-up decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I was a little afraid to make those choices on my own. So like being attached to a guy and, you know, we as a couple could make these decisions together.
Okay.
It felt like kind of a way out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because prior to that, you know, I'm the youngest kid in my family by
Oh, so you're like the
by
baby
6
of
years.
the family.
Yeah, I'm the baby. So I've always been kind of treated like the baby. And I was like, well, you know, I'm in this relationship and I'm going to go with my boyfriend and we're going to do this and that. And, you know,
We're gonna be adults, yeah.
and like, it was my first taste of freedom, but at the same time, it was like a different kind of not freedom, you know? Because once you're in the relationship, you're not really free the way you are when you're single. So that's something I didn't know either, because I went from, you know, my parents telling me what to do all the time. My boyfriends didn't tell me what to do, but there are things that you have to be conscious of when you're in a relationship. And like, you know, in order to treat the other person right, you have to keep them in the loop about your life and run things by them and things like that. So I don't have to do that now. And it's the first time in my life that I didn't have to answer to people all the time. So, you know.
What was your best relationship before you decided to just be single?
That's hard. I was engaged. My second boyfriend and I got engaged.
Wait, how old were you when you got engaged?
22.
Oh, so you're 22. Okay. And how long were you with the guy?
Before we were engaged, I think a little over 2 years or maybe around there somewhere.
Okay.
And then we were engaged for 3 months. So.
Damn. So it only lasted 3 months after that?
Yeah. Guess why?
Why?
You gotta guess.
He cheated on you?
No.
You cheated on him?
No.
He lied to you about something?
No. You're never gonna guess.
All right. Your parents forced you out of it?
No, they really liked him. He went to this really good university. He had a really good job.
Degree, guys, it matters.
Let's put it this way. I would have been set and I would have had a good life with him. Okay, so he proposed to me on the beach. And it was really romantic. And I really meant it when I said yes.
Damn, on the beach too. Yeah. What? Yeah. How do you go from that?
He was getting a lot of anxiety about going to the beach. I'm like, we gotta go. I'm like, why? The sun's about to set. We don't have time. Like, we gotta get to the beach.
Just a regular day at the beach. What are you talking about?
He was so adamant about getting there before the sun set. I was like, okay, dude. And now I know why. I feel bad. I was trying to talk him out of it. Oh, maybe if I had tried harder at the time, none of the future events would have happened. So yeah, the engagement for the first month or so was like really exciting, and I was so happy to show off my ring, and people were like, "You're so young," and I'm like, "Yes, but I love him.
I love him, yeah."
And I did, and I tell people this story. So I'm gonna tell you the story that I tell people, and then I'm gonna tell you the reality.
The reality.
Okay. So what I tell people, which is also true, he asked me to after we get married, he asked me to move in with his mom for 6 months or so that she could teach me how to cook.
Wait, hold up. What?
Like, our relationship prior to that did not feel like he expected me to learn how to cook meals for him when he came home from work. It wasn't the kind of relationship we had.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Like, he was with you for 2 years, and this whole entire time he didn't tell you, hey, I kind of like a girl that cooks.
I mean, I did cook for him here and there.
Yeah.
As one does when, you're trying to survive and you need food. But it was more like a flip had switched. No, a switch had flipped.
Yeah,
Sorry, I do that sometimes. I flip my words.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was more like a switch had flipped because he's a pretty traditional guy. His family is traditional.
Okay.
So during courtship, it's like you behave one way, but when you've got the girl locked down, like there are new expectations that I'm supposed to know about if I was also traditional. And my parents are traditional, so I guess I should have seen that coming. But I freaked out.
So you saw that with your parents' relationship, that you knew what was coming to you?
Well, I wasn't expecting to have the same relationship as they have.
Okay.
And they love each other a lot. My parents are solid. But for me, it's like, I'm kind of wild. So, you know, I don't want to be in charge of like 2 or 3 meals a day at home in addition to all the shit I have to do.
Yeah, you want to do your own stuff.
Exactly. And now we have these like food delivery services. What's the point?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the story I tell people because it kind of reflects how I felt at the time. Like, there were other parts of the relationship that indicated that, he wanted something from me. Part of the stress that I was going through at the time was the fact that I was like going to JC, the community college, back home, and I had no like solid plans to graduate anytime soon. I was 22 and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And he would talk about like, okay, when you graduate in 2.5 years, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I can finish by then. And I didn't. And he would have been waiting for me this whole time to like go through with the second part of the plan.
Wow.
The plan. So like, I can't.
So, okay. And is this where all that, your engagement ended?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
It happened right before he had written, okay, so he's Japanese. One of his coworkers was Korean.
Yeah.
So he wrote a letter addressed to my dad about asking for my hand, like officially, because there's the ring part and then there's the asking the father part. And he did the ring part with me and we kind of sat on it for a while.
Yeah.
And then like 2.5 months into the engagement, he showed me this letter and it was this, I can't even read Korean very well. I did not understand like one lick of that letter.
Yeah.
It was like 2 pages, front and back. And I was like, I don't even know what this says. What are you asking him for? Like a dowry? But it freaked me out. And we were at the mall. I remember when we broke up. It was horrible.
You were at the mall when you broke up?
I started crying on the escalator. And then we were stuck on the escalator for another 10 seconds. And we like trudged over.
That's like a movie scene right there.
It was. Oh, he and I have so many. Okay, one time we kissed at the train station as the train was leaving. And that was another good one. Oh, I miss him a lot. He was very romantic. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, the letter freaked me out. The plans freaked me out. The moving in with the mom to learn how to cook definitely freaked me out.
Yeah, I hope that. Well, to each his own. But yeah, I don't agree with that.
He was a very nice man, and he loved me a lot. His password was "I love Sue" on his computer, so he really cared about me, but he didn't really know how to love me. Yeah.
What's some of the ways that you think you would have been able to be loved by him?
I don't know that it could have worked out. I don't think that he should or could have changed in ways that I needed.
Did you ever talk to him about it? Like, hey, I don't really want to be cooking for you after work, or I don't want to do this. I have my own plans.
Nope.
No?
No.
You never brought that up to him?
I cut my losses and ran away.
Oh, okay.
I ran. Yeah. But, what do you expect a scared kid to do? Like, and from that, I jumped right into my next relationship.
How many months after?
Don't ask me that question. Okay. Months, maybe?
Months. So not even a year after you're engaged,
No,
You're done with your engagement.
way less than a year. It was way less than a year. It was less than 3 months.
Damn.
And it was someone I knew. He and I stayed together for, I would say, 4 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I think no, it wasn't 4. It was between 22 and 25.
So what's some of the things that you learned from this relationship that you're engaged that you brought to your new relationship, or did you kind of just keep doing the same things and just hoping that things would change? Or tell me your side of the story.
I have a good one for you.
Yeah.
It might not be a metaphor, but it could be. So bear with me here. So my third boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I should give him a name. Hold on. Let's call him Dennis.
Dennis,
it's
okay.
not Dennis. But Dennis and I, right when we were starting out, like we decided to book this nice hotel room, like in Long Beach or something. It was like fancy. It was a fancy hotel. And
nice.
We were planning to like get down, you know?
Yeah.
So I packed a bunch of shit with me that I was like, I don't know what kind of clothes we're going to need tomorrow. And I put all my like fishnet tights in there.
Yeah.
Because the guy that I was with before him was really into fishnet tights.
Yeah, I hear a lot with guys like fishnets. I don't know what it is, but I've been hearing that lately.
I had this like full body fishnet shit going on.
Yeah, full body too. It's not like just like the thighs or anything. It's like full on fishnets. Hey, to each his own. I don't judge.
So, like immediately went into like thinking like what turned my old boyfriend on. And brought that to the table with this new guy. Okay. And like he freaked out. He was like, "What? I'm not into this. I don't know what you're doing." And it was just fishnets. I was like,
No. Just show up out of the closet, open the doors, boom.
No, he didn't freak out. He was just like, "That's nice. Why do you have so many? Like, what's the deal here?" And so I had to like confront the fact that I was like, "Oh, yeah, the other guy was into this. I guess it's not your thing. I don't know." A little embarrassing, but I also realized like when you jump from one thing to this is where the metaphor begins. Like not everything works for this guy as it will for this guy. So I was like, okay.
But you learned though. You took that and you said, okay, this guy doesn't like this. Let me switch it up for him.
Yes, we were a good couple. We were a very public couple in that we like went to stuff together all the time. And this is what I'm talking about when it's like creating an identity based on a relationship. We'd never go anywhere without each other. Or we would, but it wouldn't be like normal. People expected to see me when he was around. And if he was around, they'd ask him where I was. And I'd probably be like right around the corner somewhere. So we traveled together. We were a team. It was a really good relationship on that side. We were both trying to cultivate something.
Hold on, let me back up a little bit. So you said with this guy, Dennis, you guys are always together. But in your other one, you said you kind of like doing your own thing, or you said wild. And
yeah, it's weird.
So with that guy, which the dude you're engaged with, you kind of did your own thing more of the time, and you guys weren't together as much as with Dennis.
Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
Dennis and I have a lot more in common as far as like I'm a gamer and he's a gamer. And, like so we used to play like League of Legends together and World of Warcraft and whatever, just any kind of games. Yeah. We had the same friends, so anytime all of us, because we knew each other's friends first, so we were already in the same group. So it just made it easier to be together all the time. And then we got codependent. We got looped into each other's identities. Yeah. So that sucks because I kind of lost sense of who I was for a while.
I feel, that's the muddy water situation where you don't want to do that just because like if one of you guys falls, both of you fall.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it was always trying to be who I was supposed to be, which is something I was trying to get out of in the first place with the other guys. So the fact that I went right back in, I mean, I'm just realizing this now too, is that at the end of the day, I think they're all good experiences. Yeah. Like I've learned so much from those relationships. Dennis was a good boyfriend.
He was.
They were all good to me.
Yeah.
But I came to a really bad point of my life after Dennis and I broke up. Because, as I said earlier, we shared friends, right? So I broke up with him because I was no longer feeling like the same way. You know, I wasn't loving him. I kind of dreaded hanging out, not because I didn't care about him, but just because like I couldn't hide the fact that I didn't feel the same. And then
how do you take it?
I mean, he was pretty unhappy for a while. And this I heard from mutual friends. But then once in a while we'd see each other on League of Legends, and so we'd like play a couple games together, and it kind of helped with the closure, knowing that we both had nothing to do and we're just hanging out on the video game. It's like, yeah, I feel you there. You know, it's not like I'm, you know, broke up with you and then went clubbing every night for 2 months straight. It's not like that.
Did he try getting back with you after this breakup, or?
Yes, but I told him that I couldn't do it, and like, and he respected that. So he's a good guy. They all are. But when we broke up, I was going to school in Northridge, and I decided to just move to Northridge for real. Like I had an apartment there, but I came back every weekend to see my boyfriend. And I was like, you know what? I'm not coming back anymore. Like this is not good. But as a result, he kept all the friends. And I stopped talking to almost all of them. I still have a few friends from that group. But it's a group that rolled pretty deep. We had like 15 people just coming in and out. Like it was a great group of people, and I miss them a lot. But you know, we couldn't hang out with each other anymore. Yeah. So when the breakup happened, I just lost all my friends, and that's one of the reasons I put it off for so long, because I knew that this was going to be a problem.
Damn. So you're like really single. Hard. You lost most of your closest friends, I'm assuming, but at least you're busy. You're going to school. Okay.
No, I almost dropped out.
You almost dropped out. Damn.
So I was going through like some major depression at the time. It's the longest I've been without a boyfriend, and I felt so crummy. I didn't want to like try and find somebody. I was in a new city where, you know,
damn, that's
it's
hard
just so
to
different
believe.
From where I'm from. So for me, it was like a year of kind of struggling with that. And during that time, like I became chemically dependent. And that's the thing that really kept me in that position.
How long were you feeling like that? Like,
I don't know.
Was it throughout the whole entire semester?
It was over a year. It was maybe a year and a half.
So you're the one who broke up, but yet you still felt some type of way.
I felt way worse than he did. I'm pretty sure. We haven't talked about it.
That's very strong of you to do.
Way, but like, I had nothing to stand on. I'm the one who broke up with him, and you know, geographical convenience states that all the friends that are out in Orange County still, you know, it's just simpler for them to accept the reality that Sue's gone now.
Oh, you're from Orange County? Cool. Shout out to Orange County. I'm from there too.
All right. I have mixed feelings about the place, but you can probably understand why. Yeah. Anytime I go back home, I'm like kind of watching my six just to see if I'll see any old friends, and not because I don't want to see them. Actually, I want to notice them, and I'm also curious if they'll say hi to me.
It's very hard to break up with someone when you guys share the same group, but at the same time, it kind of makes you in a position where you're uncomfortable. And to me, that's always when you grow the most from. So how were you dealing with this uncomfortableness? I know you said you're feeling depressed, but at what point did you, I guess, just overcome that depression, or are you still, or did that just linger on still?
During that time, I was 26, and I was going through the worst of it. I wouldn't get up for like days. I would only get up to eat or use the bathroom. Wow. I'm not going to go into details about my chemical dependence, but it was bad enough that I almost died one time. Wow. My heart stopped. Like, it was terrifying. And this this only ties into the relationship aspect of my life because, well, one, like when you're in that position, you don't want to be around people.
Yeah,
You don't
it's
want to
hard
be
to talk.
dating. You don't want to be
Yeah.
even around your friends. So I avoided my family and everybody in my life at that point. But well, a friend of mine saw what was happening to me and he was not happy about it. He recommended for me to go to Peru and like stay with a family that he had stayed with back there. And to do a retreat, to get clean and to take something called ayahuasca, which is, it's a psychedelic brew made from 2 major plants that grow in the Amazon.
Damn.
But they grow very separate from each other, so it's kind of a miracle that they were ever married to begin with.
Yeah.
One is called the ayahuasca vine.
Yeah.
And that has the DMT in it. And then there's another plant. I forgot the name. I think it might be chacruna, but I could be wrong. Which is an MAOI inhibitor, which activates the DMT when taken orally. So if you just take the ayahuasca vine, it won't do anything. You have to take the MAOI inhibitor. But the result of that entire experience was a sense of total independence, which I've never really experienced before that. Freedom from my own mind.
Yeah. That's like one of the best feelings ever.
The downside is I haven't been in a true relationship since then. And that was 4 years ago.
Do you even feel like you need that at this point? Because I feel from your vibe right now that you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I've already decided that I don't want children.
Yeah. That's a pretty big choice too.
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful to know that now instead of after the fact. But yeah, I don't want kids. And I'm pretty focused on my career too. So it's kind of worked out. I'm not in any specific hurry. Yeah. Although I do miss being in a relationship. I miss it.
Have you been dating though, at least since your last relationship? Hey, are you on Tinder? Are you on Bumble? Do you just meet people, friends of friends?
I think I tried Plenty of Fish, and I think I tried Okay Cupid or something like that. But nothing really came from that. I didn't meet anyone I liked. There was one guy I liked. Charlie. He's cool. But he lives in Thailand now, so I know how to pick him.
Shout outs to Charlie.
What's up, Charlie?
So, but nothing too serious. And is that more of your choice, or is just that's where the relationships have gone?
Nothing serious. Yeah, I mean, Charlie and I like went on a few dates, and I like him, but yeah, that's like the most serious it's been, and he's the only one whose name I remember, so that's why I mentioned
Damn.
I mean, I didn't like fuck those guys or anything. We went on a date, and I didn't really like them. You know what? It felt as if they were taking me to the same bar that they took like every date that they got on those like app things, and like the bartender knew them a little too well. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to be.
Hey fellas, switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up.
So you've been, just so people know, you, like myself too, I work in an entertainment industry. Is there any challenges working? Because I guess just work in general too, because you put in a lot of hours at your job. How do you even find dates, and how do you even go about it?
I don't really actively date.
And is that your choice, or is that just because that's your circumstances because of work?
I'm going to call it my choice, but I'm a production assistant, by the way. I work on set, and we have really long hours.
Yeah, working on set's no joke.
70-hour weeks are normal. So, and that's just the time I'm there. The drive time is like ridiculous. But anyway, I love what I do. I love being part of a team. And so that's great. But it is a little distracting because that kind of feels like my family. And, you know, like all the people I know or the people I see every day on set. So let's see. Dating in the industry, it's been kind of a rocky experience. I haven't really been trying, but as I said, ayahuasca kind of cured me of like the need to be with somebody, which means there's not really a fire under my ass. Yeah. There's no fire under my ass to really date anybody. Although I'm very concerned about getting older because I found a wrinkle the other day, you guys.
It's okay. People date when they're like 60, 50, 70. You got time.
All right, cool. I'm crossing my fingers here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really feeling pressured right now, especially because my sister just got married and is pregnant. So, like,
are your parents looking at you now like, hey?
No, they're looking at me less. All they wanted was a grandkid. They didn't care who provided it.
So whoever came first with the grandkid.
It's like, all right, that bought me a couple years. Pun. Thanks, sister.
Nice. So you're happy being single. You don't feel like you need to be rushed in any type of relationship.
Yeah, for me, I think one thing I really want to share with people is the power that comes from loving yourself. Because I know I did love myself like here and there before I did the thing. But the biggest lesson that I got from drinking ayahuasca was to love myself as a point of requirement. Like it's your ground zero. And from there you can build new shit. But if you try to build on anything except loving yourself, it's all fake. Like if you're trying to build on, being like a really good business person or, being the best model or whatever, that stuff is going to end. But self-love doesn't end until you're dead. So that's the thing that you get to keep with you no matter what happens. So like there's no grasping at anything now because I have the thing I need. So.
And you felt that was missing before? Or you were looking for it in your past relationships?
It wasn't like a palpable thing, but I have that now. So, it's like an armor and people can't hurt me if I still have that. I mean, they probably could, but it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah, I feel you're a lot stronger now from that third breakup that you had that left you pretty sad or depressed, as you said.
Yeah. And it's funny, he doesn't know about how I was so like alone and feeling worthless and all that stuff. Like I didn't want to tell him that. And the funny thing is, I don't feel like I have to tell him that now. So yeah, it's kind of great.
Yeah, I feel both of you guys are probably just going in your own paths and just living your life.
You want to hear something awesome?
What?
Okay. My first boyfriend is married to a beautiful Thai woman. My second boyfriend is married to his former boss, a really, really hot Japanese girl, and they have a kid. My third boyfriend is with a girl that he's been with since, I don't know, 4 years ago? Something like that. And they're like a strong ass couple. So I feel really awesome about that. It's like, yay,
You're the starter wife.
They all like, planted their seeds, did their garden. I'm happy that they're happy. They're way happier now than they were when they were with me. I'm not going to let that reflect poorly on me. I want to say that that's a good thing.
No, I'm stoked that you feel happy for them because you're smiling, all that. It's like, yo, you're really excited to tell me how your exes are doing. I don't think a lot of people would say that stuff. I think they'll probably be the opposite, just not want to know anything about their ex. So that's cool that you know how they're doing and all that.
I'm happy that they're happy. And part of the thing is like, I didn't date losers, they were all really cool people. Yeah. There's a reason I loved them. And I want to think there's a reason they loved me. So, and this is before I learned to find my voice and all that stuff. I think another lesson that I learned was, what is you and what is me? It's like, what is your responsibility? What is my responsibility? And let's not get them confused. Yeah. Because when I was with Dennis, those things got confused. And that's why we became codependent.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So I'd like to avoid that situation in the future.
Yeah, and I think it also goes when your partner is really independent and likes doing their own thing at the time, too.
I definitely need that now. There's no time for anything else because of... Oh, thank you, Anthony. He's pouring me a glass of wine.
Producer Anthony just comes through, man.
Producing the one.
What advice or any advice that you want to give out to the listeners?
Yeah, love yourself and figure out what's the other person and what's you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sue. And keep on listening and subscribing. So as you heard, there's a lot of things that go into marriage. And not only that, just finding yourself, going on trips. And man, in the times that you are single, enjoy that because you're not always going to have that. So do the best you can when you are single. Find yourself, go on these trips, go with your friends. Just, man, so much time. But yeah, it's always good to have that partner too. Not complaining. It's always good to just be with someone that gets you. Just make sure they're right, or whatever reason you with them. It's always for the right one. So appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. Follow me on social media. Loverboy Los on Instagram. Loverboy Los on Twitter. And the Facebook page is I Think I Love You. Thank you and peace out, everyone.